everybody. Wow, can you believe New Zealand had 56 earthquakes in one day? Well, they have. There's an uptick in New Zealand's earthquakes and the magnitudes are stronger. Are you guys partying out there to cause all these earthquakes? I mean, really? Today we'll talk about the recent earthquakes and how they were different from last week's. We'll take a look at the earthquakes in the North Island and also in the South Island. Then we'll look into Lake Taupo's earthquakes. There's a link in the description that will also further explain Lake Taupo's volcano. Let's do this! Hey, New Zealand, you just had an earthquake, and I just had to get on here. I had to see what's going on with New Zealand, and sure enough, you guys are getting quite a few earthquakes right now. You just had a 4.1 about 10 minutes ago, and also we still have the situation with Lake Taupo, which we'll get into, and we'll look at your stats and everything for the last 24 hours. It's been a little bit more time since the last time I've looked at it, but we're going to look at it together. One thing I want to bring up here in the South Island, you're starting to get a lot of earthquakes in this particular area here over the last week. Let's check and see what you had. 2 days ago, you had a 4.9 right there offshore. This one's smaller. You had a 2.9. It was a little bit larger. You had 3.8, and you also had a 4.0. I mean, it's just larger earthquakes, larger magnitudes, I should say. Reason why I say that is because at first you were getting earthquakes that were like 2.5, 1.9, but now you're starting to creep up there a little bit. This one here was another 3.8 just yesterday offshore, and we're going to go ahead in the North Island too. But the thing is you're getting a lot more earthquakes now in the South Island. The North Island, my goodness, I feel like I don't know if you saw the California video, but you guys partying out there that much that you're making this happen. I know y'all do that awesome dance, when the men stomp around and stuff, and you feel their energy when they're doing that dance. Ooh, y'all doing some dances or rituals out here? What's going on? Lord, you guys have had so many earthquakes in the North Island. There was a 4.1 that's the one that we just did on the Masterton. But check this out. Let's take a look and see it. Lake Taupo earlier had about 27 earthquakes that I counted, and they've had more since then. An hour ago they had a 1.8. This looks kind of new. 20 hours ago a 2.1. They're all in the twos, primarily ones and twos. Let's see what this bigger one here is. It's still a 1.4. Trying to get down in here. See, all these earthquakes are coming in, and it's so hard for the poor app to adapt. Adapt. There was a 2.0 about 11 hours ago, but yeah, there was about 30. It was like 27, but by about now it looks like you have a lot more. You also have some earthquakes happening in Taupo. Right here. You had some just a few days ago, and let's see, offshore is off the chart, but look here, even all in this area. Now my big concern, you're having these earthquakes right by these volcanoes. There is a meter called seismometer, SEISO meter, and you can actually download that app on your phone, and you actually sit it on the ground or on a table, somewhere flat, and it will let you know if you're experiencing an earthquake or not. You might want to look into that. It's called seismometer. And I know it. I downloaded it for my Apple. It should also be for Android also as well. It should be, hopefully. Let's see. These are different. Oh, you even had a 3.1 2 days ago, right in this area here. So yes, your earthquakes the magnitudes are getting larger now. There's a 2.8, about 6 hours ago. Wow, see, yeah, we're gonna 19 hours ago you had a 2.5. So this is happening over here in the kangaroo forest in that particular area. And then you also have some that are over here in this area. And where there's some up here. I noticed Auckland has been able to dodge a lot of the earthquakes that are happening. Yeah, there's Auckland. They haven't had any earthquakes in that area, but it's primarily just straight across this particular area. Now, when you look out here, you have some big ones out here. You know, these are always larger. Here's a 4.8 about 6 hours ago. It's just your area is getting so much seismic activity, it just back to back. 6 hours ago, see, a 4.2, and this was also 6 hours ago. So within an hour's time, these two larger earthquakes happened. And this isn't a small one either. That's a 4.2, 20 hours ago. So yes, you definitely, and even here, you even having some right here, in this bay right here. This, see, you're having one right by this volcano. That was a 2.0 just an hour ago. You see how close these earthquakes are? Most of these are within the last few hours. Some of them maybe 24 hours. But look at this one area. You're getting all kind of clusters in this particular area too. Galatea, 2.8. Yeah, you got some there. So we're going to look at your stats. I just wanted you to see this. This is a lot, guys. You're going through a lot, but I just want you to be very careful out there, especially if you're around the volcanoes, and also be careful if but just by looking at this map, if you live out there, you know pretty much where everything is. Just try I'm gonna make sure I show you this map again. Just make sure that if you're in any of these areas that you know, stay alert. Yeah, Wellington just had one. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna go through this, you know, for the people that live in New Zealand. Just want to make sure that if you're, you know, familiar with this area, just, you know, be careful, especially on the shorelines. I could tell that it's a lot there. Now, we did say we were going to start looking at Australia with yours because we always missed them. Now, they had an offshore 3.2 and there's a 3.4. So yes, they're starting to get earthquakes too. And I heard that they have a volcano as well that's up here in the north. Somewhere up here. I'm gonna have to do some research on it. Look at that. 6 days ago they had an unconfirmed 3.8. I can do this real quick. We'll see what they said. And we'll go ahead and do your report for the rest of your report. Yeah, their bed shook. Doesn't sound like they had any big booms or anything like that, so that's a plus. Okay, hold on tight. Let's go ahead and look at your stats now. Okay, New Zealand, we can check here and see that it says 56 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. But if we go up here, I just want you to see in the last 7 days it says 142 of those earthquakes that you had in the last 7 days was actually below a magnitude of 2, and 170 of them was actually between a 2 and a 3. 24 quakes of 3 and a 4, and 9 quakes above 4 magnitude. Now that's for the last 7 days. And here you'll see the last 7 days total is 338. So you've had 338 earthquakes in the last week. Since I spoke to you last time, a few days, you know, add maybe a day or two, and it was actually 338. Now let's take a look at these stats. In the last 24 hours, you have had 2 quakes that was 4.0 or higher. Now, you know, there's another chart that I can look at on this, and I want to show you something that's very interesting too. Just hold tight. 9 quakes were 4.0 and higher in the last 7 days. Now, a lot of these they still were 2s, but you've had more 3s now than you did before. Now, this was offshore, the 4.2 was. And you can see all the chromatic island ones are offshore. but these other ones are right there where you are. Most of them are. So you can see here. And what they're not actually putting any towns anymore. I'll just list some of the towns that I'll see, that I can see some of the earthquakes by, so that way at least you'll have something in the description. Check that out. And then I need to show you something else. Now let's look at the Lake Taupo district and see what they've had. 56 is the total for New Zealand. This is saying 25 of those were actually Lake Taupo. Look at that, all in that area. This was within the last 24 hours. So basically, a lot of twos, a lot of these are probably actually inside of the lake itself. See that? Yeah. You had one 3.5. Let's see where that's located. It was right here. So you did have a 3.5. Okay, and what else did you have? Let's check it real quick while we're here together. Okay, 2's to 1.9, 2.8. That was 6 hours ago too. So all of this happened within the last few hours as far as Taupo is concerned. And when we take a look at the South Pacific, these would be the ones that are offshore, but they're also incorporated with other areas. So it's a little unfair to come up with a number unless they're actually counted. But these are the larger earthquakes that are normally within the Ring of Fire itself. I mean, they got a lot. Okay, hold tight. I want to show you one more thing. Okay, New Zealand, I have something very, very important to give to you. I'm going to place this in the description. It is a podcast where a gentleman knows the researcher that's been researching Lake Taupo's actual volcano for the last 42 years. So this will definitely help you get a better understanding about what's going on with Lake Taupo. Now, they don't feel that it's going to erupt anytime soon, but they did mention that the magma is actually moving in the tubes itself, and the tubes are actually moving underneath the water. Oh my goodness. So just want to let you know that they also, I'm not going to say everything in it, but I do want to put your mind at ease about some things. They did state that they don't feel that if it was to erupt, it would not be the explosive eruption that it had previously. The previous eruption is what declared this as a supervolcano. It is a supervolcano. It was the actual largest eruption that has ever happened in the world. That's how big this thing is. The thing is that the actual volcano is covered by the lake itself. So everything's all underwater right now. But if I find out any more information, I'll be sure to include them in the future videos. But I think this link here will be able to explain a lot of things to you. So that way you'll have a good understanding about Lake Taupo. All right, you guys like, share, and subscribe, and also let other people know about this video, because if people are unaware of the volcano, or if they know of the volcano and are kind of scared to death right now, this podcast might help get a better understanding of everything. I'll see you guys soon, and see you in the next video. Ciao.